Ողջույն հերոստատող բարեկամներ, ես Արաքս Վարդերեսյանն եմ Հորիզոն հերոստակայանի եթերում։ Այսօր մեր ծրագրի թեման է սրտային հիվանդությունների կանխարգելումն ու բուժումը, եւ ահա այս կապակցությամբ մեր ծրագրի հյուրն է սրտաբան վիրաբույժ դոկտոր Ashraf Osman-ը։ Բարեկամներ, ձեր հետ ուզում եմ կիսվել մի փորձառության մասին, որ վերջերս ինձ հետ տեղի ունեցավ, քույրս, որ երկարատև տարիներ տարապում էր սրտային հիվանդություններով, նախկինում ունեցել էր 2 heart attack եւ 1 stroke, վիրահատվեց Glendale Memorial Hospital-ում դոկտոր Ashraf Osman-ի կողմից։ Վիրահատությունը անցավ հրաշալի եւ ահա այս կապակցությամբ իմ շնորհակալությունը հայտնելու համար մեր դոկտրին, նա մեր ծրագրի հյուրն է։ Doctor, welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
I was just telling them, my viewers, about my sister's experience that I've been through. It was extremely hard for me, and it had a huge impact on me. I was thinking like moments that I'm losing my sister. But she's been like, I told them that she had a 2 heart attack and 1 stroke. I knew like she had a heart disease, and she's been rushed to hospital in an ambulance. And next day I see you, after 2-3 days, she's been operated. Thank God and thank you.
You're welcome.
And she had a heart disease. Doc, what's heart disease? What causes heart disease?
Well, there is really a lot of reason why we would have heart disease. Unfortunately, as we get older, our body has a lot of changes, including the heart. If you combine that with stress of our life, high blood pressure, diabetes, smoking, lack of exercise, it's one thing after another causes problems, and all of those together it started to affect the blood vessels or the blood supply to the heart, and gradually started to accumulate deposits inside the arteries of the heart, and that causes problem of the blood supply, the oxygen to the heart, and that's people or patients start to develop the problems, heart disease. That's kind of very easy general idea about
heart disease.
Then
what's a cardiovascular disease?
Well, I mean, the heart is connected with the blood vessel in the body, so that's the cardio component, and the vascular is all the vessels. And when you have one problem, it does not really come and attack one area only in the body, the heart. It's usually a diffuse problem between the heart and the blood vessels connected to the heart and the blood vessel in the neck. And so
or neck too.
Yeah, because of there are major blood vessels in the neck coming out of the heart, and you hear the expression about carotid artery disease and so on. It's kind of the same principle, but there are people more having problem with the artery of the heart, the coronary arteries or the carotid. Some people have the major artery in the abdomen or the belly. We have, the abdominal aortic aneurysm. So that's why I call it cardiovascular, because it's really like it's
connecting to
extremely connected. I mean, it is connected. Yes,
it's connecting. We were just talking about that. You said about the high blood pressure.
Yes.
Is it connected with the heart disease?
Of course. I mean, high blood pressure is one of the main reasons why a person will have a major problem. We should have a controlled blood pressure, but again, as we get older, the arteries start to become stiff, or there are 2 other many mechanisms will cause high blood pressure. If you have a kidney problem, if you smoke too much, or if you have diabetes and the diabetes is not controlled, all of these major factors contribute that you start to have high blood pressure. And then the heart starts to strain to pump more blood to overcome the blood pressure or the resistance against, and it's kind of like a vicious circle, feeds itself in every direction in the body.
So first of all, you have to always take care of your high blood pressure, because it can eventually damage your kidneys and your heart.
Yes, high blood pressure is bad for every organ in the body. It's just like, it's bad for your eyes, it's bad for your brain, you can have stroke, it's bad for the kidney, and it's bad for the heart itself. So yes, definitely blood pressure, controlled blood pressure is very important in our life now.
Coronary heart disease.
Yes.
How do you prevent this coronary heart disease? It's a long story.
Yes. Well, I mean, if I know the answer, maybe
How do you diagnose this coronary heart disease?
Well, again, most of the people, they don't have specific symptoms when you're young. As we get older, things start to go right and left in a different direction. But if you're going to see your primary physician in an annual basis, and you start to see all of a sudden now your blood pressure is high, you're having diabetes, you tell them that you have a stress in your life, you are smoking, then he or she started to worry about you. Then they listen to your heart, they hear abnormal sound or click, all of that together. And if the patient started to complain, well, I climb up the stairs and I used to do 4 or 5 flights without problem. Now, after only first or second floor, I have stopped to catch my
breath.
Exactly, and then, well, that's a sign. There's something going on. So it's combination between a lot of things, and that's the importance why every person should see or seek medical attention with his primary physician on an annual basis. And then as we get older, we need to do more studies and lab work, and sometimes we check the heart function and so on.
Sometimes when you get older, you're stressed, you're sick, or you can have another, like a illness, and your heart tells you like you have some kind of an ache. Like you have to pay much more attention, or you have to say like it will go away.
No, absolutely, you need to pay more attention. And in this era, and we have a very great health system here. And everybody should definitely seek medical attention, either if it's something at the beginning minor, so you're referring your primary physician or your cardiologist or the surgeon, or in the worst scenario, of course, you have to seek medical attention in the emergency room. But no, you should not ignore any symptoms. And some patients really come to the emergency room and they never thought they will have a heart attack or have a problem, and they come in complaining actually of indigestion or some back pain or
digestion,
something.
right? They think it's like a
yeah, like, oh, I have
I have a gas in my stomach.
And they are all masked because some people, they have the diabetes and the nerves are not very sensitive now, so they lost the sensation, and then their symptomatology or how they present in a different way. But this comes to us, and we see the patient, and we check a lot of things. We don't know this is heart attack really. So definitely everybody should seek medical attention whenever there's something is not right. If there's something is not right, we have to find out why.
Why? And sometimes people, they're having like a micro heart attacks.
Yes.
Very little heart attacks,
yes.
And they don't realize that they had that heart attack. How primary doctor will find out about it? Send us to see the specialist.
No, this is very, very important question. It's very quite often that happens. People have heart attack and they have no idea they did.
They had it.
Until they have a bigger or major heart attack and they come to the hospital. And then when we look on the echo, which check the function of the heart, and find that the function of the heart is reduced, or when the cardiologist does the angiogram and check the coronary arteries anatomy and found one of the arteries are totally closed, that was not closed yesterday. It has been for some time. And then we say, well, how am I? The patient always like surprised, like he definitely had a heart attack in the past, but he or she was lucky that did not really cause more problem until now they are showing with a different way.
Doctor, those panic attacks, people, they're having it. Does it affect on a heart? Could it create the heart attacks, minor one at least?
Not necessarily. It depends. The panic attack. Sometimes people have panic attack for different reason. But from fear or anxiety. But it may be related to or unrelated directly. Medicine is not like, unfortunately, like
it's limited.
It's not like 1 + 1 = 2. Medicine is like 1 + 1 = 2 or 2.5 or 1.5. Yeah. It's not black and white. It's really gray, and that's why the physician role has to come to evaluate and add and subtract until we come to the right conclusion. If medicine like 1 + 1 = 2 will be punching information in the computer and things are done.
It's so individual, right?
Yeah. It's so, yes, exactly. It's so individual. We have the common knowledge, but we have to put a lot of facts together to come with a major conclusion or diagnosis.
And it's very interesting, even from the same parents, they're not born same kids with the same diseases. One kid has this disease, heart disease, the other one doesn't have it. One kid has a diabetic, she is or he is diabetic. It runs in a family like hereditary, right?
Yes.
Let's just talk about this hereditary disease.
Well, when we are born, or when a family have a boy or a girl, or two children, three children, there are genes transmitted from the father and the mother, and it's like you can find.
Or grandparents.
Or grandparents, it comes from the family root. Like someone with like blue eyes, the second one will be green eyes, and maybe can be in the same family.
Yeah.
So there are some called gene controls that the inheritance of all the information, and so some children, some member of the family will carry problem with diabetes, some they don't. So it's really variation, but there are some medical problem we know 100% will be transmitted, some is a minority, and so on. And when we look into a patient coming with whatever problem, we always ask about what the family history is. And I think actually that also extremely important if you're talking really about cancer in the family, because cancer has major the data shows that it can run in families. Not really hereditary, but there are different types. So if people are dealing with cancer, really
like
the
you
family.
said, medicine, it's not a 1 + 1, or
Correct.
It might be two and a something.
Yes.
Doctor, if I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, not at all. Please.
We'll take a short break. We'll be right back because this hereditary thing, it's very interesting.
Sure.
Բարեկամներ, կարճ դադարից հետո կվերադառնանք։ Մնացեք մեզ հետ։ Շատ շահեկան է այս հարցազրույցը։ Մնացեք մեզ հետ։ Բարեկամներ, շարունակում ենք մեր հարցազրույցը սրտաբան վիրաբույժ, փայլուն վիրաբույժ Dr. Ashraf Osmani հետ։ I was just before we went to a short break, we were talking about the hereditary diseases. Like you said, cancer, it comes or it doesn't come. The heart disease the same way, because in my family, I know from my father's side, my father was having a heart disease. My brother passed away at 39 with the heart disease. And here we are, my sister.
Definitely, there is prevalence of the heart disease.
What shall I do? Shall I be scared, afraid? Like
No,
I'm having a heart disease?
Not exactly, but
I'm not a smoker. I'm not a diabetic.
Here you go. That's what I want to hear.
I exercise.
Perfect.
I follow my diet. No, I'm not going to have heart disease.
See, the most important thing
not,
that we need to modify our lifestyle to control what we can control. We can control the fact that we don't smoke. We can control the fact that we do more exercise. Maybe we cannot control where are we born or which family if it's running in the family. But we can also control if you have diabetes, it's okay, but we have to make sure it's well controlled. If you have high blood pressure, you have to go and take your medication on time, make sure that your blood pressure is well controlled. I cannot stress enough on the fact that smoking is an extremely bad habit and we have to stop smoking.
What it does, smoking, like why cigarette is like very dangerous now these days, like it used to be 100 years ago, when the old people, they used to smoke tutun, tobacco, or
Well, smoking affects every single body or organ in your body. Every cell in your body, every organ is being affected with the product of smoking and causes damage. So, and when you continue to smoke in a long time, it definitely has a lot of problem. You combine that with the stress in our lifestyle and the hectic lifestyle and so on. Our grandparents, even they used to smoke, but they were not rushing or didn't have stress. They were enjoying life. Life was simpler and easier. Now it's a combination of a lot of things, and all the data information show that smoking is extremely, extremely bad for your body and your health. So I cannot stress enough that smoking is bad for you.
Very bad. Yeah, that's what they're saying all the time. Let's just talk about the diets. The person suffering with the heart disease.
Yes.
She or he, they have to follow their diets. They're saying like, don't eat meat. You can eat meat, this thing. Is it right?
Well, I like to tell my patient, actually, to be honest with you, everything in moderation is good. You know, I cannot also tell you not to eat meat at all or eat too much meat. We cannot do that. But
Not a barbecue, right?
as you said, like this amount of meat. Meaning, the point is the diet has to be controlled what you have a problem. If you have a very high cholesterol, you have to make sure that you take your cholesterol medication, you make sure that the amount of cholesterol that you're eating your diet or your food is minimum now, and so on. If you have high blood pressure, you have to control how much salt you have, and so on. So the diet, again, is not one like size fits all. Again, it's individualized.
You can't kill yourself.
No, what I mean is, like, you know, if somebody have diabetes, of course you cannot eat so much sweets.
Exactly.
Compared to somebody who doesn't have a diabetes, he or she can eat more of that.
A little bit more.
Yeah, so it's a combination of a lot of things. And so each individual should look, what do I have wrong? Is it high cholesterol? Is it diabetes? Is high blood pressure? Then he or she should modify the way they eat, so that it will benefit them in the proper way. Again, if you would like to have, you know, one steak per week, it's okay.
One steak, it's okay.
I'm not sure everybody will agree with that.
I believe that everything has to be moderate.
moderation,
Even
yeah.
people, they don't have a heart disease.
Exactly.
Let's just say me.
Yeah.
I mean, I believe if I have a high blood pressure, because of my age, I do. I measure it twice a day. In the morning, it's crazy, right?
No, I wish all the people like that, because
When I go
then,
to bed, I want to sleep well. You know,
absolutely,
I have to be sure that
Yeah.
it's not up, it's not low.
Exactly right.
I'm trying to control.
Yeah, if there's something wrong, you know it early, you take care of it early, you treat it early, that's the best way. Yeah.
When I don't have good night's sleep, I always knew my blood pressure or high or up. I used to have a very low blood pressure, but not anymore. It goes up if I won't control. Doctor, let's just talk about the heart attacks between men and a woman.
Yes.
They used to say, like, women, they're protected with the estrogen.
Yes.
Like, they're not having so many women compared to men. Like, men are having more.
Yes.
But guess what? I was in a hospital last time with my sister, and I see from my sister's room to the end, like 4 or 5 rooms, they were all Armenian women, all with the heart attack or heart disease.
Well, traditionally, the ratio of heart disease affects men more than women. We are talking, from that point of view, we're talking about the estrogen or hormone protection, we're talking about a small percentage when they are in the, we call it childbearing period, or area when they have the estrogen.
Yes.
Once the woman started not to have the estrogen anymore, so she's not protected anymore.
She's not.
No. So then she started to
The
go.
body doesn't produce even little one, two.
No, the amount still is definitely much less compared to when she was in the childbearing period.
Yeah.
So now her estrogen is done or decreased or minimal or a small amount, and then she started to also get older, and then all the risk factor will start to attack her like a man, exactly, meaning the high blood pressure or diabetes or smoking or stress or lack of exercise or obesity, all of those factors combined together. So once, you know, I don't know, I cannot give you exact number of age, but once, let's say about 60 or so, I think the risk between man and woman now becoming almost equal. So
no.
yeah, so that's why you saw
After a certain age.
yeah, you know, a lot of female or women patient when you visited the hospital.
I was surprised. They were all Armenian rooms, and I mean, with the Armenian patients, and they were all women. I said, they used to be protected with the estrogen. They having it now, no more.
Well, they are protected, like as I said, when they're younger.
Certain age.
Yeah, but
they were over the 60s and the 70s. You're right.
Okay, still young, but
still young.
yeah, everything is relative. Yes.
Yeah. Doctor, let's just talk about there's something: alcohol, drugs, smoking. We said salt, cholesterol, triglyceride.
Yes.
What's triglyceride?
In a simple way, our blood has a lot of components, including its big word lipids, okay, or fat, and that divide into different components, cholesterol and triglycerides. And all of those can deposit in the wall of the arteries and make the artery hard, or they develop the plaques or the atherosclerosis. So the higher those kind of fat, molecules or fat cells, which can be cholesterol or triglyceride, the worse they are depositing in the walls and causing the plaques and causing narrowing of the arteries. And that's how we start to have the cardiovascular disease, as we spoke about it. It can be in the blood vessel in the neck, in the carotid artery, in the brain, people have a stroke, or in the heart when they have the heart attack. The goal is always to make sure that the cholesterol numbers are low, triglycerides are low, and we can also make it complicated, like what you see in the commercial about the different cholesterol. There is a good cholesterol and there is a bad cholesterol. Yeah, you like to have the good cholesterol, which is something called high density lipoprotein high. We always like tell the patient to understand high is good, low is bad. The low one, is bad. Try to make it lower and lower, and that's what's all the basis for the anti-cholesterol medication that's given to the patient. Basically, to make sure your total cholesterol is low, the low is low, and the high is high, and that's exactly the major component. Triglycerides plays the same role somehow, but maybe in a less degree compared to cholesterol. But there are some patients they have a very, very high triglyceride. That's the main problem. It goes
over 1,000 even.
This is really serious and bad. And they have a special, really...
It causes heart disease too.
Absolutely,
exactly.
absolutely.
Triglyceride.
Yes, absolutely.
Doctor, let's just talk about the cholesterol.
Yes.
Because genetic component, let's just say some nationalities, they're having a little bit higher cholesterol,
yes.
The other ones no. Is it a standard that we have to lower everybody's cholesterol?
There is overall, target, like the American Heart Association or so on, they have a target number for pretty much umbrella for almost everybody. Like when you're driving the highway and you have a speed limit 65, that goes for everybody. But then you have other parameters, like if you are driving like
that's
a semi,
very good example. I
like
love
a
that.
semi or a teen wheeler, they cannot drive 65. They told them like you have to be 45. So once you have a heart disease or you have coronary artery bypass surgery, we have to lower the cholesterol way down now. So now we're becoming like a semi, you have to slow down a lot of things. So there is the cholesterol overall, the average number that apply to almost everybody when you're young and healthy, 20s, 30s, and 40s, or whatever. And as you get older and the numbers start to get higher or you have problem, then you have really to make sure the number is so low or well controlled.
What's heart failure?
Heart failure when basically the heart cannot pump anymore. Or
why?
It's pumping very weak. Now the muscle of the heart itself becoming weak. Again, a simple example, if you go to the gym or trying to lift 20 pounds, great. Tomorrow you can lift 40 pounds. At some time, if they give you 100 pounds, you can lift it. So you're failing to raise the bar to raise 100 pounds. So the heart is doing its work, but it comes to a point it cannot really pump enough blood to the whole body, and that's when heart failure. And the heart failure, different reason why is a variation of a lot, including the valves of the heart, and of course if you have a heart attack or coronary artery disease. But we know it now from all the data that if you have a valve problem with your heart, you really must check it early, and we encourage everybody to have early treatment, meaning surgical intervention or valve repair or replacement, because if you wait until the heart fails and you replace the valve, it's kind of like now it's late. The heart already failed, So.
Doctor, our time is limited. Thank you. I really, truly appreciate the efforts you put in to come down to our studio for this interview. And I am confident that it will be your information that you provided. It will be very, very much beneficial for our people, especially Armenians. Especially Armenians.
It's my pleasure.
And I sincerely thank you very much, Doctor. May God bless your golden heart, I know that, your mind and your hands, that you will save as many patients, as many people as you saved my sister's life. Thank you very much. We love you.
Thank you very much. My pleasure to be here.
Բարեկամներ, մեր հարցազրույցն հասավ իր ավարտին, հուսով եմ այն շահեկաներ ձեզ համար, պահպանեք ձեր առողջությունը եւ Տերը ձեզ հետ։ Բարի գիշեր։